Boomski.
And yes, Jeffrey, we are live January 11th, 8 a.m. Pacific time zone. And
Fresh coffee.
I've already had my coffee. Had
I
my
had a half
coffee.
a cup and I rebooted for just for this.
God, you just, I
I,
just love your prep. I
I,
love your prep. It's
uh,
like a tournament. You're just getting ready and getting ready. And it's almost like,
yeah,
you're feeling sorry for whoever's in the draw.
yeah.
So,
Sorry, I
um,
prepared.
yeah. Hey, Mark, good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Um, so, look, guys, here's what we're going to do today. A couple things. Number one, I've got a point here for you from the 2023 National Indoor Finals. I played in Houston, and this is a point. We're going to look at three different backhands. And I want to take you through the second backhand, which I think is really important. And Jeff's then going to kind of go into some mindset stuff as to what that shot's all about and how to think about it, um, and why it's importante. So, big guy, you ready to roll here?
Let's go.
Okay. So again, let me know if the thing is just ridiculously choppy or if it's
No,
okay.
looks
So
good.
that one right there is what we're gonna work on some
Uh
technique. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
oh.
Okay. All right. Let's go back, Jeff. And let's look at all right, you throw the serve in, just neutral, get it out there a little bit, but where do you end up? So it's serve and stay in, not serve and stay back. It's not serve and volley, but
Right.
it is serve and is there a chance I could take time away off the return?
Right.
All right, there's not. This guy hits a decent ball back. I mean, could I have taken that? Maybe. But let's just play a slider back over there and see what our chances are. And here it is. This is a good deep shot from the opponent. But rather than backing way up and kind of fighting it off, why not just drop the racket head down behind the eventual contact point and present the ball with a flattish racket face, almost like a backboard. You kind of,
Hmm.
for a nanosecond, just letting that ball get into a flat racket to where it gets to compress against the string bed. And, my visual here is that it's compressing, meaning that it's kind of changing shape a little bit because you're staying on it and just not starting the swing from up here, not starting up high. I mean, you can start it there, but still, you're early dropping it behind that point of
Yeah.
contact, and then from there, not taking the string bed away, actually increasing compression by going forward with the ball. And I think a lot of players, even if they get down here, Jeff, they kind of take the racket and flip it over to the right to get off of the
Hmm.
ball
Yeah.
rather than just stay out there with it. And and now that guy, well, I'm going to let you talk about that, but uh, but there you have it. So there's three
Hmm.
different backhands. Um, all right, big guy, tell us about the mindset. What are you thinking on not this one, but well, actually all of them, except for maybe the last one.
Right.
But
So,
mindset
like,
wise,
okay. So
a
right
neutral ball.
there, yeah. So right there, he's still. If you see his court position, he's still recovering. Right. You can see he's just hit the ball. He's still in recovery mode, sliding back to the center of the court. Um, and because you didn't retreat, you're going to get the ball to him a little quicker maybe than he was expecting. And so you can kind of see him, after you hit the ball, have to kind of accelerate to get over there. So it's not you didn't deliver this floaty nothing. It's just the fact that you decided not to retreat and give up 6 or 7 feet of flight time on the ball. Um, and then you send it back. You make good square contact. You send it back. So all of a sudden now he's, oh, wait a second. He's got a little shuffle, a little hurry up, and you've got court position. on him right there. And I think that's the big thing there. And I think the other, what we were mentioning earlier is your willingness to go ahead and just pick it up. A la, again, if you can hit a half volley, you can execute what Brent's doing right here. And your willingness to go ahead and just go neutral. And then dude, let's just start this over again. You don't like the ball. I mean, you don't want to stand there and hit that ball all day, so you're just saying, hey, I'm not going to back up. I'm not going to give away court position, but I'm also not going to try and flick it, and do something, roll the racket head, try and, manipulate the ball somehow other than using the energy that he's giving you, the pace of the ball that he gave you. He hit a very nice ball. Obviously, you're within, 1.5 feet of the baseline. But that energy, you're just picking it up, and I'm just going to use that and send it back. Yeah. And then that gives you court position again.
Yeah.
Willingness to go neutral. And I think this is where you start defining the better players from the guys who struggle in the first few rounds. And that is, there are three, we have three categories. We have three categories, and that's, offense, defense, and neutral. And I'd say a lot of players don't understand the neutral category. They're so wrapped up in trying to win the point, do more damage than you need to do, not let the guy hit the ball, and or the guy hits a ball back, i.e. the ball that this guy hits back. Who is that anyway, by the way?
My good friend Al Yearwood.
Oh, great. So, Al that backhand he picked up, because your slice backhand was a little shallow, in the court. He moves forward nicely. He hits a great deep ball. But then he ends up having to rush a little bit after he hits the slice. Boom, you maintain court position. Beautiful pickup. And now, he's got to hurt. There we go. Boom, there it is. And he gives you this duck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I think players need to really understand, that neutral is a really important part of the game. Being able to keep the ball neutral. Everybody just go back to your corners and put your guns back in your holsters, and let's start the point over again. Let's start reconstructing the point. And I think most players tend to live in offense or defense.
Yeah.
And so there's when they shift from offense to defense, there's a little bit of hurry up, a little panic mode almost, as opposed to just staying calm like you did here, and you just pick up the half, you send it back deep, just this big nothing ball. You didn't do anything with it, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way whatsoever. It's just, here, dude, here's a ball. He doesn't get to move inside the court. He's stuck on the baseline, and there you go.
Well, look, I think one of the things too is that, we talk a lot about taking time away, and after the serve with, let me get it back to that point, is that, look, I mean, I'm always comfortable if I get a guy out here, whether it's a serve out there, whether it's a inside out roller over there, whether it's a slice backhand, if I can move him out of the middle, if I can move him over there where where he wants to be a little bit behind the baseline, what do I care what comes back? In fact, I would like him to give me some pace. And from here, if it's, why can't we play a transitional volley from here, Jeff? Why can't I just go ahead with a forehand or backhand volley from here and just come on in, just throw it into the open court? Like in ice hockey, just throw the puck in the corner and just go scramble and just get in there and just say to the guy on the run, pass me. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give you this little 2 feet up the line. Awesome. I'm going to give you this little short angle roller cross court. Awesome. And I know you're going to hit it once in a while, whether it's intentional or not. And I'm super comfortable with that, because I just don't think you can do that all day. And once that thought's in their mind, well, what happens here? Well, now they start going, I better not hit it short. and I better hit a quality ball because. So I think that there's a lot to be said for looking to play inside the baseline and not being concerned if the guy plays a ball that's going to land an inch from or on the baseline that you couldn't volley it. I just don't want to give up that court position.
Right.
And this is the way you do it, is you're comfortable, as you described, playing a neutral, nothing burger ball back and maintaining that court position for another shot. And look, this dropper is based on disguise, which is, well, what happened on the first backhand? It was a slider, and it looked like it was coming out of this right here.
Right.
So why wouldn't he have already been trained on this point, along with some residual from other points, which is, I think I gotta get ready for an underspin backhand that's going to be deep.
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, and look, if he gets there, he doesn't even make a move for it.
No.
And I would have, I just like we said, was it yesterday or the day before? You hope he makes a move for it. You hope he gets there. You hope he pops it up. You hope you lob over the guy's backhand. You hope he goes back and tries to get it, and then just goes, dang, I don't have that much fuel, Brent. Dang.
Yeah. You want the guy to burn some fuel for sure. But that's just great execution, great point construction, way to just stay neutral in the middle of it all. I think the other thing here that is probably goes unnoticed 99.9% of the time is that when you pick up that half volley right there, okay, so hold it right there. So your ability to stay stable in that moment is a testament to the conditioning that you're doing, because that right there is all hip flexor, core work right there, and being able, you're very comfortable, you stay down on it, you don't pop up out of it, you hit, and as you're following through, your head, everything comes up then, and you see what's going on. You're in perfect control of your balance and posture. You see everything that's going on. So that's another factor here in a player's ability to actually go neutral with the ball. It's because when you're confident in your conditioning and you have great, hip flexor work, you've done that work and you've done the core work, you can get into these positions and you're perfectly comfortable to stay down on the ball. You're staying balanced, your posture's good, and you're not afraid to lengthen the point because you have the gym work under your belt, and that's another huge factor in your execution of this shot is that work that you've done this year. That just shows.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about. Hey, let me go back. Let me say hi to Omar. There's that, and. What's Mark say? My experience is you need a deeply felt confidence in your game versus your opponent to play neutral balls. I guess that's true, Jeff. A deeply felt confidence, but
where do you get confidence? In your practice sets, you have to force yourself to play neutral stuff. Play balls like this. I'm just going to stay here and do this. It's irrelevant whether you win or lose that point.
Yeah.
Completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
You have to do it enough times to start to get the timing. How does this feel on my body? Can I stay stable when trying to execute this?
Yeah.
If you can't, that's a big indicator that you need a little gym work, that there's some other things that need to be done. And that subtlety of not discovering that you don't have the strength to actually stay stable when you're trying to execute some of these things is why the decision you're making. Your brain, your subconscious and your brain is not stupid. It knows exactly that, what, I think I'd like this point to get out. I'd like to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so then we make a poor decision.
Look, here's a great, I think a great drill to kind of get into what you're describing. And one of the drills that I recommend in my 5 mindset skill habit training is play some points where all you do is, and we talked about this recently, Jeff, all you do is count. So let's say in this thing here, is the serve is number 1. So I'm going to count, see how many balls I can hit and how deeply I can get into a number.
Yeah.
And so here's number one. I go 1, and I like to do it at contact, and 2 and 3, and I'll just keep counting, and 4. And if he gets to it, then there'll be another one. But the point is I really think that there is being comfortable counting through a point, and we know from our boy Craig O'Shaughnessy that if you win that 0 to 4 category, shot category, which is typically 70%, give or take 1 or 2 percentage points,
Yep.
you know what is you're going to win the match.
Yeah.
So
Now, and here's
train yourself to be comfortable counting to 4 or 5. I mean, I played matches. I know you have too. I was in New Orleans in November, and I played a guy, and I was up 6-1, 3-love on the clay. And I know this guy's good. And I kept thinking, and we talked about this, I think, whatever it was, maybe yesterday. When's the air shoe going to drop? I just know it's going to happen because this guy's really good. And the next thing you know is I talked myself into the shoe dropping, and he didn't really change his game. I just made it drop for him. Thank you very much. But I got to a point where now I'm serving, I think it was 5-3, 5-4 in the second set. And I just said, all right, we're just going to count. Stop. And I did have a flight I had to catch. So I kept thinking, God dang it.
Oh yeah.
I've only got about 11 minutes left before I got to go up and shake hands and say, I got to go.
Right.
So
yeah. Great mindset there.
Yeah,
right.
So I just started counting. Serve was 1, 2, 3. And
eventually
it got me out of that, whatever, other shoe dropping.
Yeah. The fear funk.
Yeah.
Fear funk. Right.
So Mark's asking, what if your neutral balls get consistently punished? Well, I wouldn't say that's a neutral ball.
No, that's a shallow ball.
Yeah.
And that's the point of, in your practice sets, when, and this is, something that I do in my practice sets, let's say I'm practicing this, or I'm practicing constructing a point so I can hit the drop shot. The goal, when you first initially start to do it, the goal is not to win the point. The goal is not to hit this perfect drop shot. The goal is to get comfortable executing, constructing the point, picking the right ball to do it on, and then execute, and then working that out as you go along. And maybe the first time you do this, you lose all those points. It's irrelevant, because the next step is to, wow, I keep hitting that ball short. Okay, so the next step is, can I hit this ball a foot past the baseline? And can I find the end of the court? I mean, that's your first goal, is to find the end of the court. It's irrelevant whether you hit it in or out or not. The goal has to be to understand the length of court. How much energy do I need to put into this? What's the feel of me picking up the ball short, like you're here, and sending it within a foot of the baseline? What does that feel like? And so that's where I think players, they get lost in their own practice sessions because they're not clear on exactly what it is they're trying to attain. What is the goal? The goal eventually, yes, is to be able to get neutral, so you get to start start constructing the point again. So you get to start over in the middle of a point after 4 or 5 hits. Okay, we're going neutral here. Everybody back up. Here we go. We're going to start over again. That's the goal. The goal of hitting a neutral ball isn't that the next ball you get is going to be something magical that you get to go ahead and just end the point on.
No, I would say for me, a neutral ball is what you've always coached, which is, okay, I'm going to hit a ball that the guy over there is 99 out of 100 times he's going to get to it. He's going to touch it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And now the percentage comes down a little bit. Just because he can touch it does not necessarily mean it's coming back the same percentage.
No.
It's probably coming back a little bit less, but let's say it's 95% of the time it's coming back. That's okay. But a neutral, and that's it. And it probably doesn't give you an offensive opportunity. I mean, once in a while it will.
Right.
But So to me, just to answer Mark's question, what if your neutral balls get consistently punished? That's not a neutral ball.
Right.
And you have to, and see, I think that goes into what you're saying, Jeff. It's either an offensive opportunity for that guy over there, or else I've got him on the defense.
Right.
There's not that middle neutral ball that
Right.
can the guy take your neutral ball and drive it and select court winner? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can the guy hit a ball back to you that you kind of, bonehead unforced error? Yeah.
Yeah. Were you a little let's say lagging in your recovery after you hit your neutral ball? Were you a little lagging in your recovery? Now you're the one who's actually caused the next ball to be more impactful than it should be. I tend to, when I come out of a neutral ball, my habit is to be aggressive in my recovery because I am looking, do I get to flip the point on this next ball? That's my mindset when I go neutral, and I can see I've done it. Because am I catching my opponent in a moment of crap, I thought I had him and now I don't? Am I catching him in a little hiccup in his own mindset? And do I get, like you said, a ball instead of his 100% ball? Do I get an 80% ball back that lands 2 feet shorter in the court for me to be able to actually initiate new construction of the point, not hit a winner, but inflict some pain? And now I'm going to start working the point again. So it really becomes, it's critical that that the player understands that what is neutral. I think it's just circling back to the numbers from Craig O'Shaughnessy, the 0 to 4. What's critical to understand that is not just in the pro ranks. I've charted matches from 3-5 ladies doubles to 4-0 and 4-5 men, and the numbers are almost identical.
Yeah.
Almost. They
are for me.
A few percentage points lower for lower players, 3.5. Maybe it was about 65% of the points, blah, blah, blah. But you're still in this window that's very high. And so you have to look at, what does that mean, 0 to 4? So that means a double fault is 0. And then we each hit 2 balls. So the quality, not how much pain did you inflict in the first 2 balls, but if you can hit 2 high quality balls in your first 2 strikes, you have accomplished something massive, that you're like almost home free. And it's just hitting high quality, not oh, I got it within a foot of the corner, or I stung this return to serve and got it right at his feet. Those are all great things that happen when you're trying to hit high quality. But if you can hit your first 2 balls really high quality, you will do a lot of damage.
Yeah, no, I agree. So Mark is saying, so neutral is, quote, good enough to keep the opponent from going on offense, differs from opponent to opponent. And I would say, yeah, first of all, neutral could be you're pulled out wide and you want to reset the point. Well, if you go hard up the line, or you go hard cross court, or just back up the middle, that's you better have some quickness available to you to be able to recover, because you've now taken time away from yourself. So a neutral ball, when you're pulled out wide, why couldn't it be a lob? Why do we think that the lob is just like, oh man, come on, Brent, that's not serve +1. Well, it might be +1 if that's the right ball.
So, yeah, I think that players got to get away from like categorizing every ball that they hit, like seeing the lob as only this I'm either hitting an offensive lob or a defensive lob. No, listen, we're just buying time.
Yeah.
I'm just looking like, everybody go back to your corners. If he can't attack you, then you've done your job in getting things back to neutral, because the neutral is both of us. He just inflicted some pain on me. I managed that. You managed to flip, because that's a great ball that he hit. They got you on the baseline there, right? That's a tough ball that he hit, but you managed to get it back, send it back quickly, probably a little quicker than he was expecting, because you didn't retreat. And And now you're both at neutral. He
Yeah.
had just as good an opportunity to do something with that forehand, to try to initiate something. He could have, and maybe he did, but he didn't quite pull it off, maybe as deep as he was hoping to hit that ball. And what was going on in his mind, who knows? But that's the point. The point is that it's everybody back. Everybody put your guns back in your holsters. Let's start over.
So how many times do you see where if you're the opponent on the other side and you hit this ball deep and you see your opponent start to back up, back up, back up? I mean, my thought is that I'm just coming in. I mean, I'm just if I hit a deep ball and he's backing up, God dang it. I don't think he can just rip a ball from there by me, maybe unintentionally once in a while. Okay,
Right.
that's cool. But I want to come in and take time away. Now, how many guys, let's be honest. I mean, yeah, I would say at the top of your age group, every one of the guys will do this. Every one of them will just pick it up and throw it back there.
Yeah.
But I think as we get older, there's less and less of this. So what I want to impress upon everybody is what Jeff was saying. Why not set up a practice situation? Why not set up a drill situation? Why not have someone underhand feed you from if you're me here, why not have someone with a bucket of balls slightly to the right, maybe
right. Well, right at the tee, that's fine. Or just
right. I would say more to the right as we're looking at this. I would say halfway between the tee and the intersection there of the service line and the single sideline. Have them underhand feed you a pickup ball and just hit 100 of these goddamn things and get a feeling for the technique. The technique is don't hack down from here. Get down here with a flat racket face and let the ball just absorb. And if someone's underhand feeding you, you'll be shocked. If you just leave the racket head there and present a backboard and push the backboard forward, you'll be shocked at how much sting that you get on that ball.
Yeah. I think a lot of players are there. I think players get lost in always trying to do something to the ball, always trying to do something to it, meaning spin, pace, arc. But I mean, every ball has, let's see if I can get my hand up here in the right spot there. Every ball has 5 qualities, right? You have direction. Okay, Brent's going to hit the ball cross court. Okay, now within that direction, you have location. So cross court direction isn't enough. Now I need to have a location that I'm trying to hit the ball cross court. Do I want it to land deep? Do I want it to land short? Do I want it to land whatever? All right. So I've got direction, location. I've got pace is number 3. Number 4 is spin, top spin, side spin, cut, slice, right? So what's number 5?
You tell me, man, because I know what I'm thinking about on this shot. When you're done, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm thinking about.
Right.
With your
so,
first
and number 5 is height over the net.
Yeah.
Right. The shape of the shot also determines how you're going to execute that. Location and shape. Is it easier to roll it over there, or is it easier for me to cut this ball with a little bit of shape on it to get it to drop and go neutral and do nothing on the other side of the court, right? So it's just most players, and I've done a little bit of this with Rich and Mike Rogers, with just trust that your racket's going to square. You got to allow yourself to just see. You've hit enough tennis balls. What happens if I just let the racket square? And what does that feel? What is that? And I think most players are very surprised when they get out of the way of trying to do something to the ball and just square. It's like, hey, that turned out pretty good. So we don't need to micromanage all 5 elements on every stroke. All I need to do is like, you know what? I just need to put some length on this. And what does that look like as it comes off my racket?
Yeah. So, well, those are good. And I would also add that, and I'm going to look at these 2 right here in terms of direction. So direction for me is This one is much easier to be able to not think, well, I better go in the middle because I want to hedge my bets if I'm a hair early or if I'm a hair late. This one's sitting up there. So I feel like direction-wise, I can control direction 99 out of 100 times.
Right.
Right?
Right. Without a doubt.
This one here, Jeff, because the timing is tougher. So my thought is, well, I don't want to be thinking up the line because I've got him sort of over in the ad side. I don't want to be thinking up the line just because it looks like there's some open court. Because if I'm a hair late, this ball's flying in the alley.
It's gone.
And I don't want to be thinking, well, I just went over to the ad court, so why not go back over there again? Because if I'm a hair early, I'm wide again. So I'm going to hedge my bet. And I'm going to say, let's put this thing, because the timing is tougher, knowing when to deliver the racket, let's go right back up the middle.
Exactly.
And if I'm late, I'm okay. If I'm early, I'm okay. But I see this thing all the time where you get a guy over there and your brain is, oh my God, I've got this wide open court on the deuce side. Let's take this. Oh, crap. It's going to be tough. Let's go up the line.
But that's just it. I'm gonna close this shade behind me.
Okay. So I think this kind of goes back, guys, to what Jeff's been talking about, which is, what is a neutral ball? Well, a neutral ball is this right here. I'm playing it up the middle, even though, I mean, is it open up the line? It is, but I'm not sure I can be consistent with that direction.
Okay, so let's do a little math here, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and play this out and stop it when Al is about to make contact.
With which one? This one before or the?
No, after you hit the pickup, the neutral.
All right.
Right there you go. Hold it. Right. That's fine. Right there. We can see the ball. Right. Yeah. So literally, you've hit the borderline of the the court centric 25% and the outside 25% of the singles court. You've split the service box in half, right? Yeah. You see what I mean? Like you've split the deuce court in half with your ball. Okay. Now, if you're telling me that you were aiming to the center of the court, you missed your target by 7 feet, 6 feet. Let's say 6 feet.
I'm a loser. God dang it.
Well, no, but this is the point. This plays into exactly what you're talking about, though. If your target was where you actually ended up hitting that ball, your ball was wide. Yeah. Yeah. No, because of the delicate timing of these things, right? Yeah, right. So this is where, again, I say you're playing practice sets. You don't multiply the complexity of trying to get the feel of this thing. When you're practicing this in a practice set, I'm going to send every short hop neutral pickup ball. I'm going to attempt to hit it up the center of the court every time and see where you're at. Yeah. See what happens.
Yeah. Well, this is to me, mindset wise, the classic definition of, I'm going to play a neutral ball back. I'm okay with that. I'm assuming he's going to get to it. And I'm really assuming it's coming back. And whatever does come back, we'll just take it from there.
Yeah.
So, look, I've got a practice partner, guy we know and love. And he does this frequently on his backhand, where he pulls me over to the ad side. I play a tough ball back cross court deep. And his thinking is, I better go up the line because I've got an opening.
Right.
And it rarely works out. And it rarely works out that he actually does it and pulls off a winner. And it rarely works out that a neutral ball that I'll get to it, but and it's going back, but I don't really have an offensive opportunity. So I think this is a big takeaway for you guys today is, yeah, man. I mean, just be okay to stay in the point.
Yeah.
Just build that mindset. It's a skill. It's a habit you have to develop. Maybe you have to write out an affirmation that you read 17 times a day.
right?
going,
Put it on a card. Put it like, today I'm working on this. Put it on
Yeah.
a card. Every time you change sides of the court, read the friggin' card.
yeah, and
You
just
know?
tell yourself, I'm
And, like,
super
remind
comfortable
yourself.
staying in the point.
Remind
So-
yourself, Yeah.
All right, guys. Any more comments? I think we got to check out here. I
All right.
got stuff to do, Jeffrey. And
Yeah.
and Mark, good point. Make your opponent play. That's right.
Plus,
That's right.
you might find out that there are 5 or 6 baller. That's their shot tolerance, and then they start to get a little edgy. They start to look for the exit and none of that. But you have to be able to stay in the point that long, and you don't have to be creating massive offense. It's just, are you making them have to reset as well? And do they have the mental capacity to also reset, rebuild the point from scratch, and do that? And that's where you find out. That's where I find out. Oh, this guy's a 5 baller, and then he starts to get a little edgy. It's like, okay, guess what we're doing? And then eventually, over the course of a match, 5 balls becomes 4 balls because they're getting frustrated, and so that number starts to shrink as you push it out toward the end of the match. That's what I've found anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. God dang it! You're always bringing the good stuff, Jeffrey. Oh, and by the way, before we went on there, we said that what you're looking for next is the Steph Curry 3-point dagger, where he throws it up there, turns around, and walks away.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be kind of disrespectful in tennis?
Of course.
Yes.
So, definitely it depends on your opponent whether that's necessary or not.
Oh, that's true. Depends if the guy's a real flamer. You might want to do that. That's right. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for hanging out today. If you are brand new to web tennis, to me, maybe even Jeffrey, I got something for you. And it's the 80-20 reality, which is 80% of the time we're on the court, we spend between points and on side changes. And if you manage that 80% really well, the 20% of the time you play point, you get some real clarity. Not only do you have some clarity to start the next point, but I think there's a residual that carries over into the point itself, which is a real important part of being a top player. So look, guys, if you want to get that video, it's my 4 parts between points routine. It's free, but it is private. But it's a great video. I think about 20 minutes, and explains to you what my 4 parts between points routine and why I practice the living crud out of it. So with that said, guys, thanks for hanging out today. Jeffrey, thank you, man. Always great to have you on this. What's the right shot? Anything else we do? Guys, any questions, you can tee up Jeff. And by the way, if you're in Northern California or you want to travel to Northern California, you should, if you want the real deal, which would be some time on the court with, not that bad of a tennis court you've got up there, Jeff.
No, it's kind of an okay location.
Yeah, up there in Napa, California, a little bit, about an hour or so north of San Francisco and the Bay Area, and private court, I believe on, what is it, a estate or vineyard or winery or something like that.
Yeah, pick any one of those things.
Okay, it's maybe all 3 of them. Anyway, it's Jeff at jacklich365.com.
Yep.
We'll get you in touch with Jeff. And any more questions, Brent at webtennis.com. Guys, thanks for hanging out today. And definitely see you again next time.